Look at this incredible mantis that we have up here. I think that this one is Acanthops. I can't really say that these mantises are something that I'm very well versed in. I'm fairly certain on the genus ID. The pseudacanthops that live in this area look nothing like this one. But on the species of this one, I'm really not too sure. If this is indeed Acanthops, I would like to mention that I found my first male of the genus not too long ago, and they really are quite sexually dimorphic. These ones, as opposed to the males, have a relatively colorful abdomen, and you can barely see it here, but this is probably the best view that we're going to get because I don't want to spread our wings apart. While the males can fly, these females cannot, but they are capable of these little jumps that can be almost 10 centimeters in distance sometimes. Perhaps one of the most interesting things about these mantises is their walking behavior. Many insects that exhibit crypsis, most notably in the orders Phasmida, Mantodea, and Orthoptera, will move back and forth as they move forward to mimic vegetation moving in the wind. But instead of doing that, as you can see, these mantises rotate a little bit left and a little bit right and alternate every so often as they walk. Tonight we are on the coast of western Colombia, and we will be looking for random harvestman species. I don't have any particular ones in mind to show you, but a lot of the ones that are out here are cool, so we shouldn't have any difficulty finding something of interest. We have our first harvestman on this leaf over here. This yellow guy. I've seen another species of Cosmetus that looks quite similar to this one, except its tip is darkened, and it has a couple spots on the posterior as well. And there are several species of Cosmetus around here, so hopefully we can see another one. This genus Cosmetus was described in 1833, and most of them are characterized by this Hershey's kiss shape. Cosmetus is the type genus for Cosmetidae, which is a family that was described 6 years after. Despite being the type genus for this family, it is still quite obscure, and rather infrequently encountered in its distribution in North and South America and Central America. This family Cosmetidae is highly diverse, and it's distributed throughout the New World all the way up into North America. And this name Cosmetus translates from Greek to ornate. We have an adult Corallus annulatus on this tree here. Alright, we got our Corallus annulatus down after much effort. At about 1.5 meters, the one that I'm holding onto right now is an adult. These are commonly known as ringed tree boas or annulated tree boas, which coincides with the specific epithet annulatus. This species is found in Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia. Across that distribution, they do exhibit a fair amount of variation. Some of these can be closer to a dark gray, and others can be quite reddish, but there are other variations as well. In addition to this, unsurprisingly, the pattern does vary as well. This is the smaller of the two boa species that lives out here. The other one that can be found out here is Boa imperator, the Central American boa constrictor, but it's encountered far less frequently. And like other Corallus species, these are mostly nocturnal and fully arboreal. Birds make up the vast majority of this species' prey, but they do also feed on bats and rodents. You've probably noticed that this one has a lot of iridescence on its scales. That is true for a lot of similar species as well, and not just in the genus Corallus. We've got a couple of very large orthopterans here. This is a mating pair of Neotropical stick grasshoppers, the female being the one on the bottom here. Obviously these are convergent with stick insects, but a quick and easy way to tell these apart is that as opposed to phasmids or stick insects, these stick grasshoppers' eyes will be above and in front of the mouth. Meanwhile, for practically all stick insects, the eyes are placed quite normally nearby the mouth parts. I've seen a handful of these at this point, none of which have been during the day, which is a bit surprising because I believe that these are diurnal. At night, much like the ones you see here, they sit on leaves. This is despite the fact that, as you can tell, they're supposed to camouflage with sticks and branches. Aside from looking really strange, these also have a very strange jump. I don't know if this is normal or not, but the ones I've seen jump a short distance vertically into the air, flail around a little bit, and don't land very gracefully. What I mean is they can't seem to coordinate their jumps very well at all. Last thing about these guys, they are quite large. In fact, these should be the largest grasshoppers that live out here, in second place being Titanacris. Underneath this leaf down here, we have another harvestman that looks kind of like a Hershey's kiss. It's a little bit tough to tell here, but we'll see it close up and you'll be able to tell. Just going off of appearance here, this one does seem to have a little bit less personality than the last one that we found, but this one might be more true to the original Hershey's Kiss. This one seems to be half the size of the last one that we saw, but I'm still unsure as to whether it's mature or not. I've mentioned 3 species of Cosmetus at this point, but there is at least a 4th one that lives around here as well. I've not seen it, and we probably won't tonight either, unfortunately. Regarding the morphology of these Cosmetus harvestmen, there are relatively few species in the world that have this kind of shape. By far, most harvestmen have either 0 protrusions, or at least 2. And like other Cosmetus, these are largely arboreal, and when they're disturbed, they typically go to the underside of the leaf first, but after that, they'll just drop to the ground if they feel the need to escape. You can tell this one fluoresces about the same as the other one, maybe a little bit more. And what's pretty cool is, under ultraviolet light, there's a lot of contrast between the granulation and the rest of the exoskeleton surface. I just saw a large berry-colored trapdoor spider walking around back here. And that is this one under this leaf. Quite a good size. These are extremely flighty, so this might not go very well at all. Alright, I had to extract it off camera. It wasn't really cooperating all that much. This berry-colored should be in the genus Strophaeus, and this is mostly based on the ocular tubercle. This genus was described in 1875. This is a relatively obscure genus of megalomorphs. It should range throughout various parts of northwestern South America, but exactly where does not seem to be clear. Like a lot of berry-coloureds or brush-footed trapdoor spiders, these can get quite large. This one is about 3/5 as large as they can get. These build burrows in the ground that are both horizontal and vertical, and their trapdoors tend to be quite thin, quite like spiders in the family Eustenizidae. This is one of 3 trapdoor spider species that's known from around here. The other 2 belong to the genera Eumidia and Bullostromus. Among these 3 genera, this is definitely the most common around here, and they can most often be encountered in rotting logs. Look at this guy down here in the leaf litter. This is our next harvestman. Might be a little bit difficult to see, but it's this one right here. And this one is in the genus Stygnomma. Within single genera, alpha diversity among harvestmen seems to be quite high in the tropics, but this genus seems to be a bit of an exception around here. This species that we're looking at, whatever it might be, is the only one that I've seen. It's definitely one of the most unique harvestmen that you can find out here, and perhaps the most readily findable fossorial harvestman that lives around here. Something that seems to be quite consistent with fossorial harvestmen is that they generally have shorter legs, and they aren't very colorful. These ones spend most of their time in cavities in the clay, but can also be found underneath the leaf litter and in between roots. As you can tell, the chelicerae and the pedipalps on this species are quite large. Relative to the body size, this one might have the largest ratio of any harvestman that lives around here. Unlike the last 2 harvestmen that we saw, this one is quite dim under UV light, not much fluorescence at all. Look at this stick insect here on this leaf. I believe that this one is in the tribe Xerosomatini. This is the second stick insect in the tribe Xerosomatini that I've seen out here. If you watched my video on dino spiders, that's where it showed up. It's not the same species as this one, but quite likely in the same genus. This one also has the horns on the pronotum, the leafy bits on its legs, and the expanded tergites on the abdomen. While the last one appeared to be a dead leaf or dead branch mimic, this one's crypsis is far more moss-oriented, as you can tell. If these species are anything alike, this one probably has a lot more growing left to do. As it often goes with phasmids, a lot of them aren't too aware of their own crypsis, so like this one, they'll end up on leaves or other surfaces that they don't quite camouflage on, and that's when they're easiest to spot. This tribe that it belongs to, Xerosomatini, occupies much of northern South America and Central America. Throughout this range, it's mostly in humid rainforests. And it seems that there are many other species in that tribe that mimic moss and similar pieces of vegetation. We have a Neischnocolus mecana tarantula sitting on the ground right here. And this one is about halfway grown. This species of tarantula does not have a common name, and that is likely because it is quite an obscure species. It was only described in June of 2023, along with 3 other new megalomorph species in this area. This is possibly a Solano Bay endemic, which is where I am right now. The type locality for this species is Mecana, which is why it's named Neischnocolus mecana. This is a place that is not many kilometers away from where I am right now. This species is nocturnal and semi-arboreal, We did find this one on the ground, which is where it is most commonly seen, but they also climb up plants from time to time, usually not very high. I don't think I've seen any that were more than a meter off of the ground. During the day, however, these are found in the soil, in leaf litter, in or underneath rotting logs, or under fallen palm fronds. In my experience, this has been the most common tarantula species in the region I'm in. What I'm holding onto here is a very large Caecilian. This Caecilian that we have here is likely some kind of Caecilia nigricans adjacent species, and it's the longest one that's found around here. Caecilia nigricans is commonly known as the Riolita Caecilian, and that one was described in 1902. And this is the only individual of this species that I've seen around here. There's a total of 3 known from this area. I've seen a few dozen Caecilia guntheri, but there's a third species out here, Caecilia perdita, that I have not seen yet. In addition to being the longest Caecilian around here, it also has the greatest length to width ratio, and the highest count of folds or rings along its body. And apparently, compared to other Caecilian species, these have larger than usual teeth relative to their skull. Caecilia nigricans is found in far eastern Panama, western Colombia, and western Ecuador, and it's restricted to lowlands below 1,000 meters in elevation. We have our 4th and final harvestman inside this dead palm frond. This one is in the genus Ventrifuca. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show this on YouTube, but these harvestmen are recognizable by this thing called an apophysis. That's this protrusion on the ventral side here that we're looking at. And this genus name Ventrifuca I don't think relates to this apophysis in any way. It translates to ventral fork. I'm not sure what purpose this apophysis serves. I originally thought that it was used in some way for mating, but I saw a couple of them mating the other night and it was not put to use, I don't think. But I can't say that I stuck around for very long. I mentioned that this apophysis that they possess makes it somewhat easy to identify these. The caveat here is that not all species in this genus Ventrifuca have this apophysis. And if I recall correctly, there might be other harvestman genera that have it as well. Not too sure on that though. Well, that will be all for this video of looking for random harvestman species in Western Colombia. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.